Hi everyone, as some of you will know, today is World Day for Safety and Health at Work 2021, with this year's theme focusing on anticipate, prepare and respond to crises. To tell us a little more about what this means for Vysus Group and our clients, I have Steve Harris, our Head of HSES, on hand. So Steve, can you tell us a little more about the initiative, please?
I guess it's appropriate to add a bit of context first. So the COVID-19 pandemic, as we're all very much aware, has had a profound impact on every single aspect of our lives, both personal and professional. And much of the change has been a result of the controls that we've implemented in order to reduce the risk of transition in the workplace. But those controls themselves have subsequently raised concerns on a raft of issues, from psychosocial aspects to ergonomic concerns and circumstances that are really associated with a less than perfect home life, such as domestic abuse, addiction problems, and of course, the wider mental health concerns. But the International Labour Organization is now using World Day for Safety and Health at Work in 2021 as an opportunity to really raise awareness of the importance of resilient occupational safety and health systems. And this is really critical work, with some countries reporting that in excess of 30% of their COVID-19 cases have been transmitted within the workplace. And of course, these are workplaces that haven't been traditionally designed with factors such as ventilation and social distancing in mind. These factors that we've now learned are so incredibly important in reducing the transmission rates.
And so what is Vysus Group doing in relation to World Day for Safety and Health at Work?
Well, we're following the philosophy of the International Labour Organization in sharing learnings, and we're taking this opportunity to really add value to the industry by adding our proactive insights into the changing face of risk within the 2021 workplace. So rather than concentrate purely on response, which many will be doing, we'd like to inspire the thought and discussion within organizations so that they can really predict accurate risk within the post-pandemic world. In short, we intelligently use hindsight to inform our clients' foresight. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's learning from events of history. So if we start with the dangers of organizational change, the one that immediately springs to mind would be the tragic event in 1992 in Castleford, England, and the Hickson and Welsh plant, where unfortunately 5 people lost their lives when they were cleaning the inside of a vessel. Confined space entry, incredibly risky task at the best of times, but it was found that due to a recent company reorganization, the cleaning task had actually been organized by a group of inexperienced team leaders reporting to an overworked area manager. Now, they're not my words, they're the words of the findings of the health and safety executive. Now, organisational change was also thought to be a major factor in the loss of the likes of the RAF Nimrod over Kandahar in Afghanistan in September 2006, where tragically 14 souls lost their lives. And I'm from the east coast of Scotland, and this area particularly felt that loss more than most because the aircraft in peace times was stationed within RAF Kinloss. And it was the northeast of Scotland as well that endured the immediate aftermath of Piper Alpha in 1988, where 167 lost their lives. And that was due to misguided priorities and the trade-off between productivity and safety, and combined with how financial pressures were actually applied in a day-to-day way to that installation. And those same threads rang true as well in 2011 on a semi-submersible called the Deepwater Horizon in the Gulf of Mexico. Again, on that day, 11 workers lost their lives. So if you examine the threads and the pressures that were necessary for all those tragic events to have happened, and then ask ourselves, could those pressures bubble to the surface again today? Well, it would appear the answer is definitely yes. And the evidence for that we can see with multiple near misses within sectors such as aviation, everything from miscalculation of fully grown adults to infants, down to takeoff and ratio calculations. And several serious incidents have been reported in industrial facilities across Asia, Turkey in particular, Italy, and India is suffering particularly badly right now. So in all these safety incidents and all these process safety incidents, we see indicators that unchecked organisational change, overriding commercial considerations and pressures, both perceived and real pressures, have also potentially trumped proven risk control methodology and solid engineering practices, and have all ended with tragic consequences in the same way as they did within the list of incidents that I gave you when we first started answering this question. So what are Vysus Group doing in terms of promoting World Day for Safety and Health in 2021? We're reminding our clients, we're examining our clients' risk profile, and we're matching lessons that have been learned in the past to their forecasts to make sure that they continue to conduct safe and efficient operations.
And what can we all do to ensure that the initiative is a success?
Well, that's a great question, Dawn, and I always harp back to a solid ALARP calculation, and that's the calculation that ensures that your operational risk profile is as low as reasonably practicable. Now, what this does is it balances the quantum of risk against the sacrifice involved in implementing the measures that are necessary to control that risk. However, it's a fascinating equation, and all the variables involved within it are constantly changing. So it's a real skill to get right. But to answer your question, we need to revisit our risk management strategy from top to bottom, including that ALARP calculation, and ensure that we're comfortable that we have that ALARP risk profile in play. Quite simply, everything has changed. We need to recognize, we need to manage that change, and we need to make sure that the ALARP profile that we have right now in the new world is relevant, and we're not in fact managing an ALARP risk profile that was pre-pandemic legacy that we simply believe may still be in play these days.
Thanks, Steve. If you could change one thing within the industry that would help us all achieve the aims of World Day for Safety and Health at Work, what would that one thing be?
That is a frustratingly easy question to answer, Dawn. There were times within our respective national strategies where they were changing day by day and governments were working tirelessly to try and stay ahead of the virus. And even at that time, when the consequences of not following those instructions were clear for everyone to see, in terms of everything from death rates to hospital beds, there were still those who either lived within the illusion of safety or simply, for whatever reason, chose to ignore the rules and perpetuate the spread of the virus. So as we return to our workplaces, I would implore everybody that we cannot afford to repeat these behaviours, which may very well be even more tempting now that the perceived risk has fallen even further. So it's essential that compliance and governance within our respective occupational safety and health systems is as good as it can be and is respected. And within that system, there's a constant risk assessment with the latitude to change processes dynamically if we see a change in the risk, so that we can stay within that critical ALARP profile.
Great, thank you. And is there anything else you'd like to highlight?
Just to thank you for the time and thank the audience for listening, and to implore everyone not to ignore the lessons of the past. Please, please, please use them to inform your risk management strategy and ensure that the importance of compliance and governance is understood by all. Within Vysus Group, we have 3 values. They're passion, partnership and trust. And I think those 3 ideals should be used by everybody to ensure that we all stay safe, healthy, environmentally responsible for the short to medium term at the very least.